So
man.
my main question is, how did you get into music, basically? Because this is the most important thing people need to understand. How did you get that burning passion and fucking desire to want to be an artist and travel the world and shit, right? Tell me.
I think it started. I get asked this question a lot, and it's hard to pinpoint it. It's really hard to work out what was the moment or what was that
Catalyst.
series of and I think there's a few things about it. I think I come from a musical family, and I say that not in like one of those, I don't know, special stories where, I don't know, dad's a producer and mum does this and they've done it's not like that. And my family just really enjoy music.
Right.
So music has always played in the house. My granddad, like any granddad, just like a normal man, has an enjoyment for music, taught himself guitar, that passed down to like the kids like singing and music. So it's not like one of those stories where they're actually in the music industry. My family just really love music, and so that trickled down to me. I guess I got to an age, and I think it was about 7 or 8 where I remember in my mind feeling like this feeling that I get from music, I actually want to be able to give it back to other people.
That's nice.
And
at a young age as well, man. Flipping out.
Yeah, I think so. This is really hard. I'm trying to work out when again,
you could be completely lying
music
to me, man, and I will believe you.
I've like I said, this question comes up a lot, and I've really tried to drill down into when was it. But yeah, I think around the 8-year-old mark, I started like really expressing myself through music. So not just being a passive listener and enjoying music, but being able to like, actually, I want to see if I can I sound like the people that I'm hearing? Can I write?
Drop some
like
bars.
Did
you try and do a Michael Jackson impression? That's all I want to know right now.
I was, I was very late to the MJ train, so that was later on in life. But yeah,
Wait,
I did.
Another thing you said just there about the way it made me feel.
Right.
Give me that. What's the essence here? Like, what is it that music does for you, man?
So for me, I think music it's so spiritual. It's so transcendent. It's like the one thing that, well, it's not just the one thing, but it does unite us all. It doesn't need, you don't need to speak the language. You don't even need to understand what's being said in the song. It just carries.
Rick, on that point, man, question for you. Let's you'll probably know this. I don't know if Indy News when I told him. Gladiator. Have you seen the film Gladiator?
Yes.
Right. The music, Hans Zimmer, awesome, right? Now, the last track, Now We Are Free, sang by Lisa Gerrard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Which language is she singing in? Hello, shalom, long believe. Which language? Have a guess.
Arabic.
It's a made-up language. Lisa Gerrard made this language up, age 3, 4, right? Got discovered by Hans Zimmer, who's like, she's like, yeah, I still use this language for herself, right? Drops this massive like song, and everybody hears that. It's like, it's emotive, it's transcendent. You're like there, you're like in the fields, and you're like, oh my God, it's a made-up language. And you're right, it is. The music has a universal kind of power, man.
It really does, man. I didn't know that. That's crazy. I didn't know that. That is an amazing story. But it just goes to show.
When you're going to make up your own language, man, and like start singing it.
Do you know what? The cogs were ticking. It was like, really? I can just make up my own language and not have to string words together.
Man, and people like, yeah.
Right. Yeah, my output would be crazy now. I wouldn't have to put English words together. I'd just make up sounds.
Transcendent.
Man, okay. So you felt it about 6. You felt about 8 years old, and then you were like, it just gave you this great feeling, and then you just carried on with it.
Yeah. So I'd carried on with it. Like most traditional singers that sing my genre, so like R&B, there's definitely a big sort of church element to it. So like growing up in churches, like being part of like the choirs and like the services, and sort of honing your craft and understanding music, understanding the basics of music, understanding singing in a group of people, like public speaking, all of that church kind of provides, as well as this community feel. Do you know what I mean? So and I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same for you guys in your sort of in your places of worship. But you've got this community feel, but you've also got life lessons that you eventually learn throughout your interaction with those organizations. I think
with Godden especially, he has that, because he has the ability to be able to actually sing, and he can play a few of the instruments. And he understands the concept of it a lot better than I do. I appreciate it heavily, but he's really talented at it. I've been lucky enough to actually hear him sing, and I was like, he's very good with it, in the sense that no, this is me being very real. He's very smooth with it, and it's, I'm never going to say it to him in person, but I'll say it here because it's relevant, right? But he's very smooth with it, and it as you said, it's a feeling, and the feeling of him singing and doing that in front of me and meditating is something that I feel, and I was like, that's actually really calming. Right. I can't put my finger on it, but it's just one of those things where I was like, yo, I haven't felt this before, ever.
That for me is the magic there of music.
Mic drop. That's a mic drop right there. And the word that Rick used, right, which I saw Indy smile at, because we used, so backstory, Rick, we were on holiday together, couples holiday last weekend or the weekend before.
Oh, nice.
So there's an instrument called harmonium. I don't know if you've heard. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I was playing harmonium, and we were doing the kind of spiritual singing, and the word we used for that weekend was transcendent. That was the word. Use that word, right? And I get it, man. I get it, and Indy feels it now. So, and it's one of those things where, like, this is kind of like where music is so powerful. So within Sikhism, Rick, a lot of what we do is about singing. Like you can pray by reading, but actually you can pray by singing, right? Yeah. And it's just a different experience. And then people say to me, "What's the value of doing that?" The answer is simple. Go and do it. Have an experience. You'll understand, man. Why am I going to try and explain to you something? I said to you, it's like people say to me, so if I said to you, Rick, tell me a food you've never tasted ever.
Oh, what have I never tasted?
Or drink. Food or drink.
I don't even know. That's like... What
Rick, you ever tasted everything? All right, okay. Have you ever tasted, like, I don't know, shark?
No, I've never had shark. All
right, there you go. Yeah.
Okay. So, Rick, please describe to me what a shark tastes like.
I have no idea.
Right, and it's just that this is the point, isn't it? You want an experience, go and have an experience. Have an experience, reflect on it, and then you'll know, man. Like, be in that space where, and then the magic will happen, man. If you give yourself to the music, you know what we call about like you become one with the music. Time stands still, and you just. So true. The other side to that weekend was when we weren't doing that. We had this little karaoke going on, so we were all having couple massages, right? And at this point, Indy's missus was upstairs, right? And we just went full flow, Justin Timberlake, Cry Me a River, John Legend, all of me, like transcendent
I went so
voice.
Far left, it was mad. Actually mad. I couldn't believe it, man. It was insane. Just sitting there listening to it, I was like, yo, this is great.
But it felt good, right?
It felt good. You get into it. Yeah.
So true.
It's all a feeling, man. So when you're in church and stuff, were you going every Sunday? Were you in the choir?
Yeah, so my family, that's sort of a big part of our culture. I would probably say definitely from a Caribbean, Jamaican household, that generation, church and that generation is synonymous. Like that's what that generation do. Yeah. So I pretty much grew up in church, so that would be on like the day of worship would be Sunday, and then you'd have the different things that happen in the week. So whether that's like elders or like teens or like kids stuff or just like general what they call like Bible study on a Wednesday. Church was pretty much like a major part of my life when I was growing up.
Rick, how early did you have to get up on Sunday to go to church?
Oh man.
I mean, just get out of bed and start getting ready because you got to look
like
good as
7,
well, right?
Yeah, like you got to get up at
7 a.m. I'm not about
7,
that.
Yeah, you got to get up at 7. There's
on
just
my
so
Sunday,
much to do.
are you taking the piss? Like what?
And Caribbean black churches, your Sunday's finished. If you leave the house at 7, just forget it. That's Sunday. That's it. The whole
what time
day.
You getting home?
The whole day. Well, so you probably get home for like maybe 5.
Right.
But then you go back to the evening service. So you
really?
yeah. So you get back to
back,
maybe quickly
shirt
go
change,
and eat.
let's go,
Literally
go
shovel
again.
food down your throat, and then back again for
I
like
was gonna
7
ask,
o'clock.
Rick, how does it work in terms of food in the church? Like, what's the? So if you're there all day, like, how does that work?
Yeah. So you've definitely, like I said, got that community feel, like where you have like some of the older like women and mothers of like the community that will cook food for people that don't want to go home. But usually Sunday for us is as a way to reconnect with family. So someone's always going to cook, whether it's going to be your nan, your mum, do you know what I mean? Or if it's an in-law, and then we all find ourselves at somebody's house. Now that normally is like a staple. So that's normally going to be like nan or grandma or the mum. Right. It's going to be that person that is the glue to the family. And everyone goes there on a Sunday and has dinner. So that's normally what happens. Either you go to church and you kind of mingle and have the church kind of experience of it, or you go home and then come back